Hi. I have with me today Alex from Chernihiv in northeastern Ukraine. Hi, Alex. Thank you for joining me today.
Well,
Hi, can you hear me? I think it froze.
yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay. Um, so let's go back to the very beginning. We all remember what happened that first day on the 24th. What do you remember from that day? How did you find out that Russia had gone through with this full-scale invasion? Just tell me what you remember from those first few hours from that first day.
Okay. Well, as for me, I learned it firsthand from basically what I heard outside of the window. I went to bed late, so I went to bed like already on the 24th. And yeah, for some reason, I woke up like in 6 hours because generally I sleep longer. And then when I woke up, I heard like siren wailing, and I heard some explosions. Like they were pretty distant, but they were huge, and like I was shocked. I thought like, oh my god, what's going on? So then I just reached for my phone in order to check it out, and then I learned like that there is a full scale invasion. I saw that there are some images already, and then, like it was around 6:30, 6:40 in the morning. So yeah, I was in this very room where I am now. So well, I went then to my mom to wake her up and told her about that. And then I started doing all the like preparations because over those weeks we had lots of info about like the potential war. So mm, uh, there were lots of informational materials on what to do in case of war. So to prepare water supplies, to like prepare food and stuff, to gather your documents, to gather like some of the most necessary clothes. So that's what I was doing. I like gathered some water. Um, then I also ran down to check out if our basement is open in case of like air raids. So yeah, that's basically what I was doing. I just was preparing immediately. Yeah.
Um, so then, because you were preparing everything still on the 24th, did you then not believe that Russia was going to go through with the full-scale invasion? Because there were a lot of talks for months before, but especially from about end of December, going into President Zelensky's speech in the Munich conference. So did you really feel that, okay, maybe this was not going to happen and maybe there was going to be some other forms of aggression, but may not be in all of Ukraine?
Well, yes, actually, for me the first alarms about the potential invasion actually started not like in autumn or December, but more than a year ago in around April. At that time, I was in Paris. I was studying there, like as an exchange student for one semester. And there were some like news that Russia assembles lots of like armies around the borders. So basically the same scene as in December, but like less. There was less hype around it. So yeah, at that time, like it was alarming, but then like everything calmed down. Then the same thing started over autumn. So then it once again calmed down a little bit. So I thought like the main strategy for Russia was to, to create this suspense in order to like continuously destroy Ukrainian economy because like right before war we had lots of commercial flights canceled, like lots of embassies left Ukraine before the invasion. So I just thought like this is going to be a way to affect the Ukrainian economy, like I don't know, Ukrainian hryvnia was falling down, like the dollar became more expensive. So like this is what was happening. Like, yeah, Ukraine did not look like a good place for investment, and I thought like this is a uh, like the panic that they want to create, because like invading the country would be quite stupid, because um, like I still understood that we have a very strong army. I mean, of course, Russian army is bigger, but like Ukrainian army is also very well prepared. And like lots of people are willing to fight and to resist. So from the very beginning, I understood like the probability was very unlikely, because it would be a very stupid move, in my opinion. Well, anyway, he did it, and it turned out to be like not the best decision, very stupid move. So um therefore, like my feeling wasn't wrong, but yeah, I thought till the end that this is not going to happen.
Yeah. So you did though have faith in the Ukrainian army. You did believe that because we're seeing now everyone's talking about it, about how strong the army has been, how strong Ukrainians have been, and you had the same feeling even before everything started, that if something were to happen, that everyone's going to be okay, the country would be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure like to which extent, and I understood that like my city is like 100 kilometers from Belarus. So like of course it's going to be like one of the first major points from the north. Uh, I probably thought that like I mean it's hard to say in retrospective now, but yeah, of course I thought like that it's impossible to conquer the whole Ukraine, uh, because like I mean there are so many opportunities to defend it here, like, and I see it with my own eyes. Like it's not an easy task to capture Chernihiv, and like especially if the people are going to resist. This is like, I mean, it will require tremendous forces. This is not like a thing that you can do in like 2 days. Um, so yeah, I mean, and I believed in resistance because lots of people were saying that. I mean, I didn't understand what was going on in the south, because like I thought like that Kherson won't be captured as fast as it happened, but like now I guess the um, all the security services, they are trying to investigate what was happening there, because something that happened there, it was definitely like the sabotage from inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as for Chernihiv, like I believe that yeah, it was well prepared, and the city managed to yeah to hold all the invaders.
So just take me back to those almost month and a half, 2 months. Chernihiv was under siege from almost the very beginning until about early April, right? What did you and so you sheltered with your mom, right?
Hmm.
So what did you and your mom do to survive? Did you have enough food? What did you do for water? They attacked the water facilities, the water pumping stations, at least two of them. What was the situation like? How did both of you survive?
Hmm. Uh, well, so I haven't spent all the time of the siege here. I left the city in the middle of March. So I spent like around 3 weeks here, a little bit more than 3 weeks. Mm, and for these 3 weeks, at the beginning, everything was like more or less fine. We were sleeping in the basement because of this constant like air raids. Um, so it was like dangerous to sleep here. I guess
Was it
my first night.
a house?
Yeah.
Are you in a house? Did you have a basement in your house, or it's in a building basement? Like, is
So
it for everyone, or is it
it's
just
like a
your
block.
mom and you?
Mhm. It's a block of flats which was built in like 1958 or somewhere around there. So basically, at that time, there were like speculations about this like nuclear war. So we have, I mean, we don't have a basement that will protect us from nuclear attacks, but we have a pretty decent basement which has lots of different rooms, which has several entrances. So, like even for example, yeah, if the building is damaged and like one of the entrances is blocked, you can leave by another one, and like there are lots of different little rooms where you can hide. So it's like a whole system there. So yeah, we just slept down below, and yeah, it was pretty cold and dry there. So I got ill pretty quickly, and like up until I left the city, I couldn't cure myself. I spent a couple of nights here in the apartment, but not in my room. I was sleeping either in the corridor or in the bathroom because
Mhm.
it's warmer and it was warmer and safer there. So like because I have a huge window in my room, like if something I would be like damaged with, I would be hurt with like little pieces of glass. Um, so yeah, as for the facilities that were here, the heating stopped working like during the first days of invasion, so it was pretty cold, and I was wearing my jacket all the time. And yep, since we live in more or less the center of the city, like it was uh, less damage than other districts because it like I mean how how hard the situation was could be said like dependent on different districts of the city. Some districts were utterly destroyed and had no access to like water from the first week. While in our case, we had water for the first 2 weeks, as well as electricity. After that, like water was cut off for some time, and then it came back, and then it was cut off again up until the end of the invasion. Uh, right after I left the city, my mom told me that there was no electricity, so it was like people gathering around in groups that had electricity generators, charging their phones and stuff. Uh, and of course, since the city was like besieged but not fully blocked, there were always people who managed to leave the city, and there were always volunteers that managed to get in. Um, so we had no severe shortages of food. The volunteers were pretty organized, and also two-thirds of population left the city, so which meant Chernihiv pretty resistant to the siege. So like um, the situation was hard, but not that drastic. Yeah, at least people had food. No water and electricity. Yeah. Actually, the fun thing is that we had like gas throughout the whole siege. So, but this is like once again, it depends on a particular district of the city.
Got it, got it. So what did you do for water? Did you have it already stored?
Well, as I said, as I said, like we made supplies of water because for
Mhm.
the first 2 weeks, okay, in Chernihiv we drink water from the tap because it's like good water here. It's not like a common thing for Ukrainian cities. In most cases, like in Kiev and Lviv, the water from the tap is not drinkable, but here we do drink it because it's not from the river, but from artesian drilling. So yeah, we just made like some storages. We took, I don't know, some buckets, some. I don't know, big pots, bowls, and we filled it with water, and we replaced it every like 2-3 days. Uh, so that's basically it. But for those people who were cut off from water, there were once again volunteers who using like tractors, using whatever machinery they had to move around the city and to bring water, like drinking water where it was necessary. So it was mostly like that. Mm.
Got it. So we've been reading a lot of things coming out of Chernihiv during that time, as well as since Russia withdrew from northern Ukraine, northeastern. Were you hearing anything during that time? Were you able to read anything during that time? I'm not positive whether you had internet connection or cellular connection, and or were you hearing anything from friends, neighbors about what was going on? Because we were reading stories about people being from buying bread and a month. Were you reading or hearing that by any chance? And what were you thinking during that time? How were you keeping your morale up, and possibly of that of your mom's as well?
I'd say that we were pretty fortunate because we had internet connection almost for the whole time. Um, so like for some, I guess hours, the connection was disrupted a little bit. I guess that was because of the I mean special machinery that interrupt connection. Yeah, because like it was restored pretty quickly. Um, and Yeah, we managed to always have access to the internet. I mean, the biggest trouble for my mom was afterwards that there was no electricity because it was hard to charge the phone. But for the period that I was in the city, like it was possible to like yeah to access it and to read about all the news. So yeah, I knew about it and about that bombings. Like on the 16th of March when also people were killed in while waiting for the bread. Actually, I like three people of those were my very distant relatives, and like I learned in 2 months that they were killed there. I mean, we did not communicate, but like we are very distant relatives. But yeah, we are.
So how did you learn about that? How did you find out that it was all,
Mm,
were you reading with everyone? Did you find out through people you know?
Well, basically, it's like a huge story because, like, my grandmother had a cousin, and like this cousin is now 95 years old, and she had like descendants, like very small group of people. Basically, she had like her son's wife because her son is now dead, and then she had like a like grandchild and grandchild, great grandchild. So and those three people were killed. So she's 95 years old, and basically all her descendants are now dead. Uh, so we communicated with her on that, and like she told us this story. And yeah, unfortunately, the whole family was killed, like three generations in one instance.
How is she doing?
I mean, she's doing fine. Like, I mean, it's hard to say like how is she doing, but I mean, she's a very strong woman. So she doesn't cry. She doesn't like there is nothing like that. But like I don't know what's on the inside. Like on the outside, she looks fine.
You were saying that you left in March, and if I remember correctly, you said that your mom was still here in Chernihiv.
Mhm.
Uh, um, why did that happen? What was the discussion like? Why did you decide to leave on your own? Did your mom say that she wanted to stay back in Chernihiv?
Yes, we basically I wanted to like for us to leave, but she didn't. She didn't want to leave the city. She was hesitating because like she thought like I have nowhere to go, but like I had plenty of variants where to go. And yeah, so it's hard for her to take decisions. So as for me, like yeah, I just found some volunteers that were able to take me, and like we were we had like a car for 5 people. There were 6 of us in that car, and it took us like 7 hours to get to Kiev. Normally it takes two. So yeah, and that day I just went to Kiev train station, and then I like took a random train to the western Ukraine. Yeah, and I stopped in Zhmerenka, like it's Vinnytsia region, where I had some friends and like yeah, spent the night there, and then I continued my journey. So I asked my mom several times to leave, but she didn't want to. At that time, it wasn't clear like what is going to happen, but like as for me, I wanted to continue my studies, and I also understood like this whole war scene is like very hard for mental health, and like I mean I felt that yeah, it's not good, so just I need some peace of mind.
Yeah, and were you able to get some peace of mind where you were? Were you in Western Ukraine?
Yeah.
Um, and also, just was your journey going from Chernihiv to Western Ukraine, was it fine and I guess uneventful? Nothing happened on the way because I don't think there were many stories from Chernihiv, but obviously we read a lot of stories about Russian soldiers firing on evacuees leaving. Did you face any such issues going through? Did you go through any Russian checkpoints and such? Just take me through that journey and then tell me about your life sheltering a bit in Western Ukraine.
So as for my journey, we were delayed one time for like an hour because of the fightings. But as for other parts, the journey was yeah uneventful, and fortunately, like we did not meet any Russians because the road was fully under Ukrainian control. It wasn't like the highway because highway was partially captured by Russian. It was like some a different road, secret road, um, like secret set of roads actually. Um, so and we yeah, we managed like it just took a lot more time, but all in all up until Kiev it was fine, and Kiev was much more relaxed in comparison with Chernihiv. At that time when I was living in Chernihiv, I remember some either a journalist or someone on the news asking like our mayor or someone like, are the cafes working in Chernihiv? And this was like considered to be an insult because like seriously, in Chernihiv like nothing is working literally. It's like we have no lights, no water. We have heavy fightings, constant shelling. Actually, around the 28th of February, a couple of missiles landed near my house, and like uh, we had some windows broken by these explosions, and yeah, there were lots of lots of damages around near my home. So yeah, at that time it was pretty crazy to hear. But Kiev looked much better than than Chernihiv. There were still people. Cafes weren't working there, but yeah, it looked more relaxed. So And after that, I took like a very slow regional train, which like is a night train, but like you can't sleep there because it like you can only sit there, and it takes like 11 hours to get to Lviv from Kiev. So like it was a horrible journey, and I did not complete it in one go. As I told you, I just stopped in Zmerenka for several nights, and then I went to Lviv region where I stayed like for another month or something. When everything ended, I came back.
And then what? How was your month there in Lviv? I'm assuming you were talking to your mom daily, if not quite often during the day. How were you surviving then? How were you keeping your spirits up, reading everything that you were reading? And what was your mom telling you during that time? What was her experience like in that month that you were away?
Well, she's pretty optimistic, so it was all right. We communicated daily. She helped people here all around. She had like we are a family that really is keen on cycling. So like we weren't left without transport for the time of war. Um, People who have cars, they had problem with fuel, and cycling seemed to be the best option. So yeah, she managed to get the food. She managed to get like the water. So I mean, the life was harder than during the first days of invasion for her, but I mean, not dire for that time. As for me, like I guess in comparison to what like we had to live through in Chernihiv, my life was pretty good. Yeah, it was very hard for me to like mentally recover after all of that because everything seemed so crazy, and yeah, it took me quite a lot of time to just adjust to this calm life.
And then what was it like to come back? Is your home okay? Is your mom okay? Your friends? What did you see? What were your first impressions like coming into the city? And probably since I assume you've gone to places since you've been there. So are you seeing a lot of the damage? Because the mayor said 70% of the city is destroyed. What have you seen?
Well, I'm not sure about 70% because like I guess it will all depend on a particular district. Because the central district was damaged, but it's not like utterly destroyed. And like there are some buildings and historical buildings as well, very important for our cities that were like damaged or even destroyed, like Ukraine hotel, which is like pretty close to the place where I live, and I remember that explosion. I heard it pretty well, and like that night I was going to sleep in the bathroom because I was very ill. Um, but then like I had to go down because like I was sleeping, and then I woke up because of like a huge explosion. Like the whole house was shattering, and like I didn't understand what's going on. So yeah, and then after we had like the second explosion right afterwards. I don't know what was that exactly, but yeah. So but like the city is not fully destroyed, so I can't say that like it's definitely not a ruin. Yeah, there are some particular districts that are severely damaged, but not the whole city. And yeah, I also read some like historical data. It was interesting to learn that the districts that were damaged the most during the Second World War are now damaged the most as well. So, like, there are some statistically more dangerous districts to live in. So now, like, yeah, now there is a complete ruin, and unfortunately, many people lost their homes.
And then what is the life like now? Do you still have a lot of sirens that go off? Do you still shelter? Have people gone back to, what many people call the new normal? Is there a lot of rebuilding going on?
Well, like I can't say that there is rebuilding going on. Like that, mostly cleaning up. Uh, because explosions they leave after lots of rubbish. I mean, when this hotel Ukraine was destroyed, the grass in the park near this hotel was white because of dust. So like yeah, and if you walk around there, this like white dust, it will just go up and yeah, everything was very dirty. So like it was mostly cleaning after the war, not rebuilding anything, because as for now, I guess first of all, it's necessary to have funding, and secondly, I mean, considering the potential new attacks, it's not the top priority to rebuild. I mean, only like some critical things like bridges, because lots of bridges were damaged in Chernihiv region, and therefore now it's complicated to establish connection with other cities. So that's a big problem. Uh, yep. And as for life now, we do have air raid alerts, but we don't have sirens. I mean, the sirens are disabled for some reason. But like everyone who wants to keep track of them, like has an application on their phone. So that's how we learn about air raid alerts.
Do you still shelter? Do you shelter with your mom? Is your mom okay, by the way?
Yes, yes, she is.
So she was okay when you came back?
hmm So yeah, it's fine. But yeah, I mostly now it's the situation is much more relaxed. So yeah, few people shelter now, and I guess from the end of the siege, we didn't have any like um, missiles coming here.
Mm.
Hopefully, won't. Like there are mostly some little fightings near the border, but like Chernihiv is like still many kilometers far away from there.
You said 2/3 of the people left. Have a lot of them returned? Do you have?
Mm, like yes, actually a lot. Um, but I like what our mayor said. Normally we had like around 300,000. Now we have 170. That's like according to what he says, because he has like the cellular phone data. But as for me, with every other day, I can see more and more cars. I can see more and more like people on the streets, and like products in the shops. So and new shops are opening. So I mean, new, not like new, but the old reopening.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess like the population is growing, and yeah, people come back. Of course, not all of them. Some people, like, and some of my friends, they kind of are determined to stay in Europe until the end of the war. But for me, it like sounds, you know, uh,
You want to?
I mean, yeah, it's like I don't know how long that can
Yeah.
take. Yeah, quite a while.
Yeah, you chose to come back when, yeah, I mean, there are no hostilities in Chernihiv, but there's, raging war in East and in Donbass, and both Ukrainian and Western intelligence, they have said that there is a possibility that if Russia takes Donbass or they make decent gains, that they will try to work their way back into Chernihiv. Are you worried about such a possibility?
Oh, I see that they cannot make any decent gains in Donbass, so I think it's like not very probable, and like Chernihiv is more ready to repel the attacks now before. So I think that it's quite unlikely that they'll have such an opportunity. And as for Chernihiv itself, I think like for now it's even safer than Lviv region, because recently, like yesterday, I guess, or the day before, there were missile attacks on one of the villages, which is nearby, very close to the city where I live, in Lviv region. So, uh, yeah, I see that now. Those regions are a target. Yeah, Chernihiv has like no value for them, and um, yeah, for now I think like it's more or less safe here. But you know, it's hard to predict anything.
Yeah. So, do you then believe, you said that you had a lot of faith in the Ukrainian military before all of this started. Do you then still believe that Ukraine will win? And what does victory look like to you? What do you think needs to happen, A, B, or C, uh, for you to consider that Ukraine is truly victorious and free from Russia once and for all?
It's hard to say that. I mean, considering Ukrainian history, it has never been free from Russia once and for all. Uh, like it's a curse having Russia as a neighbor. But like I'd say that like liberation of our territories is going to be a victory, as well as some reparations for the damages. Like made here, and this is like a total victory that we can have. uh but I still believe that so far Ukrainian army has shown itself as like a power that has gained already some victories. So I don't know what's going to happen, but like I see that we have already managed to show that we won't lose our independence, and like Russia even doesn't try to haggle over our independence anymore. So yeah, I hope that in future they will understand that like they don't need to haggle about territory as well, and that they need to leave.
Yeah, and do you have any friends or family in Russia, or what was your opinion of Russia, say before the 24th, maybe even before 2014? Has that changed at all during this time? And of Russians, either Russian soldiers, Russian citizens?
I
What is
mean,
your opinion?
as for Russian soldiers, I had no opinion about them. So like this invasion formed this opinion of them as like robbers and uh, murderers of civilians. Uh, as for Russian people, no, I don't have any. I mean, probably I have some very distant relatives which I don't communicate with, because yeah, I have some relatives in Belarus and Russia, but like I have no contact with them at all. Don't know even their names. I just know that they like exist, or maybe not anymore. I don't know. Maybe they died. So yeah, as for friends, I don't have either. But I get got the chance to speak with Russian people. I mean, I understand that. I mean, not all of them are pro-war and stuff, but like, still, I believe that they have the collective responsibility, because like the nation cannot say like, oh, this is our government, we can't do anything about that. Like, because in Ukraine, if this is our government, we try to do something to get rid of this government or change the policy of the government. And like it, it was quite effective so far. Like, I mean, if there are some unpopular decisions, they can be reversed. If there is a president that someone like that most people don't like, we change we change them. So yeah, like they are all responsible for what's happening there, I believe.
And what is the first thing that do you think that you would want to do when the war is over?
I'd like to travel somewhere. I don't know, either in Ukraine or abroad, because now I can't go abroad, even though I'm a student and I can't be mobilized either. So it's like, uh, nowhere here, nowhere there. Uh, but yeah, I'd like to travel because yeah, I really like traveling. So it's like either traveling in like Ukraine to maybe some of the destroyed cities, or abroad. I don't know, just to relax. So something like that.
And how old are you, Alex? Do you said you're studying, so you've had some classes or they've started up?
Well, like I'm 21. I'm finishing the fourth year of university, and um like yes, I had classes when the war started, but then we had like a break for 3 weeks, and then we resumed our classes, but they weren't, you know, they were pretty like relaxed in terms of with deadlines, and like if you can't be online, you can like just submit your written work. So less requirements.
Even now?
Sorry.
Even now, there are less requirements.
Well, now they're basically finished because
So
I'm on. This is like my last year, and like we are now having internships and preparation for the exams. So yeah.
is it easy? How how is it to try to concentrate on classes, or is it a good distraction for you?
It depends. Sometimes I like it's hard to work. Sometimes it's like a really good distraction. But like the city of Chernihiv, it before war, it was a very peaceful city, and now even like when the war is going, but there are no Russians around, it's also a very peaceful city. So like the whole nature, the whole it's a very green city. Like definitely recommend to come here. So the beauty of these lands, the beauty of like architecture that's still survived the war, it kind of calms down, and the fact that we don't have air raid alerts like sirens on the street, it's like here you can feel like in in peaceful land. So something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to say that we haven't talked about?
I don't know, like not sure. I guess I said yeah all that I wanted.
Okay, I think that is it. Thank you so much for talking to me. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing your story. I wish you and your mom to continue to stay safe, your friends as well, and hope that Genevieve will continue to get better and that this will be over everywhere sooner rather than later.
Like, thank you very much. Yeah, I yeah wish you all the best too. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.